It's not over yet. We still don't know where the human Cabbage Patch Man known as Kim Jong-un is hiding, or if he's even still alive. One of the best memes I've seen about it so far is the one where it says Kim Jong-un finding out who he has to face in the gulag, and it's Kobe. Kobe would destroy him in the gulag, no problem. But with all the news still swirling around it seems that all of you at home are super interested as to what is going on in the country. And I have to say, I'm learning a lot just from doing these lists, and because you guys are so interested, we are bringing you today's list of top 10 scary North Korea facts they don't want you to know, part 2. Hello, Most Amazing Top 10 family. I'm your host, Jade Arena, and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. If you guys have not seen part 1 of this series yet, then you should go check that out right now. Part 1 was so good, and there were so many insane facts on that list, and I might reference it a couple times, and it's going to possibly blow your mind. Also, you're going to want to stick around until the end of this video because I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts that you guys love so much. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram, and without taking any longer, let's get into this list. At number 10, we have Kim Jong-un poops. I don't know how many of you at home have heard about this, and frankly, I don't know if it's 100% true. There were people on both sides of the argument, but apparently there's a legend in North Korea that Kim Jong-un does not poop. The rumor was started because he is so godly that his body is able to use everything it eats as the ultimate fuel. Yeah, Kim Jong-un looks like the kind of guy who's running at full power. I've heard it go so far as to say he doesn't even have a butthole because why would he even need it? I don't know, man. I'm not a dictator, so I have no idea what it's like to rule a country with an iron fist and control every aspect of people's lives. But if I was the king of the castle, I think the last thing I would spend all my time on would be telling people that I don't poop. I would put way more energy into getting awesome capes. If you're gonna be an evil overlord, you need to have several cool capes for every occasion. At number 9, we have a poor relationship with China. Now, even though it seems that China and North Korea are buddy, they trade all the time and they're next door neighbors, they probably live like a sitcom, right? Well, that's absolutely wrong. They have a terrible relationship. This is for multiple reasons. There's constant problems with their borders and immigration. People running away from North Korea trying to defect to China. China also sees North Korea as a very negative stain on the public image of Asia, which is very true. North Korea is maybe the least respected country globally, and no one will work with them. And on top of all of this, North Korea has been doing several nuclear tests to show the world that they have nukes and that they are not to be trifled with. But those tests have come at a cost. The radiation dust gets caught in the wind and has been blown over to China. That is a very good reason for not liking someone. They have been sending radiation over to your country and making everyone sick. At number 8, we have the 3-generation policy. This is one of the most outlandish, backwards things I have ever heard of. This honestly sounds like it was pulled right out of the Lord of the Rings. It's so bizarre. If you commit a crime in North Korea, it doesn't just affect you, it trickles down through the generations. It will get spread to the following 2 generations. There's a real triple life sentence. This means if your grandfather was arrested for something and then put into a labor camp, you could be born into a labor camp and be serving a sentence that was put onto you before your consciousness was even in your body. Like, what are you talking about? That sounds like one of the most unjust things that exists. This is just a way that North Korea can keep income coming into the country because a big portion of the country's GDP comes from these work camps. And it's so easy to go to jail there. You can go to jail just for making a joke about the government. At number 7, we have they are at a major volcanic risk. A massive volcano might blow up and take out a ton of their country along with some of China. And guess what? It's all North Korea's fault. So as I mentioned before, they have been testing nukes and the whole world is super pissed off, especially China. And when China is one of the only countries that will do business with you, you don't want to piss them off. Now, instead of stopping the nuclear tests, they decided to take them all underground. That's like your mom asking you to clean your room and then you just shove everything in the closet. Now, these tests have been shaking things up and have started to irritate Mount Pyeongchang, which is the largest mountain in North Korea and also a massive volcano. All the testing has risked a natural disaster. This could lead to the deaths of millions of people. At number 6, we have their people want to leave. I mean, this shouldn't be a surprise. North Korea is probably the worst place to live in on the planet, but people are forced to stay there. The worst crime you can commit in North Korea is trying to leave North Korea. I mean, right there, that should tell you that there's something better going on outside the country. Like, why do you want to keep me in here so bad? Even just learning about another country can lead to your death sentence. Now, most people don't know that there's a better life out there because they have zero information about it, but on the North Korean black market, you can buy Western movies. Getting caught with one of these will mean death, but the people who watch it will get perspective to see what life is like outside of their hellhole country. At number 5, we have their opinions about other countries. I mean, it's no surprise that America and North Korea are enemies. I mean, I think most countries would consider North Korea to be an enemy, but with the US, it's a big deal because they are the largest country in the West, and from their perspective, they're holding back their own greatness. So what does North Korea tell people about Americans? Well, nothing they tell them is nice. It's like the movie Mean Girls over there with the burn book. A common theme is that everyone in America is a murderer and insane. Also, that every Western person likes to eat human flesh. I mean, I've tried it, but I wouldn't say I like it. At number 4, we have a computer permission slip. You know how you can just go buy a computer at Best Buy or Amazon, you just order a laptop and then it's on your doorstep before you know it? Well, there isn't anything like that in North Korea. If you even want to get a computer, you have to submit a form to the government and ask for permission to buy the computer. After that, all the content you look at is monitored and you don't even get to go onto the internet. I mean, they have a private North Korean internet that you're allowed to use, but I guarantee that there are zero boobies on it. Imagine, over there, you could get sentenced to death for watching this video. Remind me never to plan a trip there. This is part 2, and I'm sure they already have a price on my head in their country. At number 3, we have they will dox you for the wrong haircut. Now, I mentioned this in part 1 of this series, but North Korea controls what haircut you get. That is absolutely mental. They have strict rules and guidelines as to how you are allowed to wear your hair, and if you don't follow these rules, they will publicly shame you. Once the new rules were passed in the country, there was a few people who weren't as quick to change their look, probably because having long flowing hair that they could braid and play with was one of the few pleasures that they had in their life. Well, the North Korean government put together a hidden camera show, but it wasn't like one of the fun ones where someone jumps out and they say spaghetti and then you get spooked. No, it was nothing like that. They had a reporter asking people if they had heard the new hair laws, which everyone had because it was mandatory information to know. It was posted all over television, on billboards, all this stuff. They even sent pamphlets to your home. And then the reporter would ask them why they haven't changed their hair. Then they would tell them that they worked for the government, and then they would force them to give them their personal information. That would be like where they worked, what their name was, where they lived, and that information would be posted all over the show so everyone could see that they weren't following the hair laws, and they would be publicly shamed in front of the entire country. At number 2, we have a system of spies. So how do you find out your people are following all these insane laws? Well, you hire a bunch of spies to do the dirty work for you. In North Korea, there are hundreds, maybe thousands of people who work as spies for the government. The country is literally full of snitches. They watch to see if anyone is getting foreign contraband, and then they inform the government. This could be as simple as watching a Western DVD, like that small. If the government gets word, they will find out who's been watching this contraband. They will go to their home, then they will shut off the power so they can come in and see if the DVD is stuck in the DVD player and catch you red-handed. That is a very sneaky move. And for the number 1 spot, we have Camp 14. There are several labor camps in North Korea, and the worst is said to be Camp 14. In this prison, there is an underground layer where people are taken to be interrogated and tortured, sometimes just for the sick pleasure of the guards who are patrolling this place. The people are dismembered, burned, and tortured in brutal ways you can't even imagine, and then thrown in a cell to die by themselves. If you survive, you can only hope to be taken back into one of these rooms and continuously ravaged by torture. If hell exists, I imagine it's something like this. If you wanted to know more about what this life is like, you should read the book Escape from Camp 14. It was written by the only person known to have escaped from this camp and escaped from North Korea. It has all the brutal detail. All right, everyone, that has been our list. We're gonna lighten the mood a little bit with some pet shoutouts. Remember, if you guys want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. I pick new pets every day, so if you don't get picked one day, you can message back another day. I usually pick to message last. If it takes me a little while to get back to you, I am very sorry because I have a lot of these to do, and without taking any longer, let's shout out some pets. First up, we have Lily, who looks so silly playing around like that. What a great cat. I love this picture. Right after that, we have Toto, who is a scorpion. I didn't even know that was an option for pets, but that is cool as hell. Next up, we have Charlie and Coco, who are a couple of guinea pig buddies just hanging out in their home, having a real good quarantine time. Then we've got Frankenstein, who's hanging out in quarantine with his owner, watching Lilo and Stitch. That sounds like the greatest way to spend isolation. And to close it out, we have Moshi, who looks super cute with the little tongue poking out of her mouth. Oh my god, it just melts my heart every time. All right, everyone, that has been our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I've been your host, Chadarena, and don't go to North Korea. It doesn't seem like it's very nice over there. Bye. Of course, I'm your host, Chadarena, and I want to welcome the most amazing family back. Of course, I'm your host, Chadarena, and I want to welcome you guys back. I want to welcome the most amazing top 10 family back. Of course, I'm your host, Chadarena, and I want to welcome the most amazing top 10 Of course, I'm your host, Chadarena, and I want to welcome the most amazing top 10 family back to another amazing video. Of course, I'm your host, Chadarena, and I want to welcome the most amazing top 10 family back to a